Hey, JM. Hey, Vampire. What's up, Roaring? How you doing, Mia? Welcome back, everyone. So, who would like to be first? So the object is today to try to complete 6, maybe more, and we're going to transform your profile pic into something creepy and fun. Hey, Finn, what's up? Okay, well, JMS first, and then we'll head on to Vampire. So let me click on JM's profile. Ah, so you got Sonic. So I could do something like a Sonic EXE if you want. So we got at JM dash VQ7QY. And then Vampire, I shall do you next. Let me check the profile so I could write it down so I do not forget. Go channel. And what do we got here? Oh, I like that. That's kind of like a has-been hotel kind of feel to it. All right. And of course, murder drones. So I could definitely work with both of those. God verse dash Abby. All right. So Sonic doing the absolute cinema. Yeah. All right. So for that, let's pull up that profile again. And get the old pencil going, and then we can hop over into JM. So we're gonna scooch the camera a little bit so everyone can see there. And cameras, work with me. This is the best part about being a, streamer. We get to, work through camera situations while it's hooked up to my phone. So basically what we do is we block everything in. This isn't how exactly Sonic looks, but we know that this is where everything is going to be situated, and from there I could extrapolate it. Since I'm going to do more of a Sonic EXE, I want to make that really big face. I think what I might do is transition the hands down and make it more like claws here. So we're going to rough sketch in some hands with some claws across the mouth. Because this isn't absolute cinema, this is absolute horror. So we'll give it like a little flip on the script, if you will. Hey, Tristan, what's going on? Alrighty. And so I think I'm going to make the eyes a lot bigger. So now what we're going to do is we're going to work into the sketch of the concept sketch, I should say. And what we're going to do is make, why can't my, oh, there we go. Let me pull this down. Okay. Boom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on making the eyes a lot bigger. I want them to be bulging out. I want this to almost look more like a snout. So get a little curvature here. It's going to be like a little bit of Sonic EXE style, but not necessarily Sonic.exe. I'm going to add little flare lines so that I know to do that later on. And that's basically to indicate blood vessels within the eyes. Now, if you're looking for a one-to-one on the portrait and you're like, oh, I don't like doing copies, that's other people's forte. I can do it. I just choose not to, just because I like creating something new. Like creating something that might not be necessarily common, and create something that has a little bit more life. So instead of absolute cinema here, we're going to have absolute scaring the crap out of you. Just jotting in some rough teeth. Once again, we're going to clean a lot of this up when we work on the inking. Bring the arm down. And for the hand, I know I said claws, but maybe we'll do more like a talon feature. Make these like the gold rings in his hands. Okay. And these are going to be super quick. No problem, JM. So these are going to be like super quick. These are going to be between 15 minutes roughly. These are like what I would consider doing like a concept sketch, right? Like before I would take this and extrapolate this out into a bigger idea. It's kind of like what I do when I do my big drawings. I kind of like play with an idea, if you will. I'll doodle out and rough out a lot of ideas before I actually sit and create something really big. So whenever you see like my drawings that are like 4 different styles or whatever, I kind of rough all that stuff out before I actually go out and execute it on the page. I think about the layout, how it will look, how your eyes will perceive it, etc. So over here, I'm thinking of like a whole bunch of hair that's getting pulled back. Sonic is a fur character, so we want to make sure that the fur is represented, but in a very wildy kind of state. I want to really almost feel like the speed is there by flicking in all this black like this. And then, of course, he's got his ears, eyes. Boom. Try the snout. I really like the way this design is overall coming out. Like, this would be something that if I was gonna continue doing, like, I really like the overall concept and design. Oh, nice, Josh. That's cool. I'll give it a peek after I'm done with the stream. What did you draw? I thought My Hero Academia would have done better, but it just didn't really hit. I thought, especially with the final season coming out today, I thought, for sure that it would be something. But I guess anime isn't necessarily what people on my community want to see, which is kind of a shock because it did so well early on in my career, but just sometimes trends die or communities change. You know what? I'm just going to black all of this out, and I'm going to redo the teeth when I add color over the top. I'm not going to sit here and futz around with it. Okay. I almost instinctively pause the camera because normally when I'm doing these, I'm like, pause the camera, pause the camera. Like, no, I'm not editing anything. This is all one live shot. Alright, so now we're going to work primarily with gray tones because we want this to be, let me lower this. It's a little bright. I'm going to lower this and lower that. That much better. I think you actually can see the blacks a lot more. And basically, because it's more of a creepier version, perhaps an undead version, we're going to work with lighter colors. We're not going to keep it as bright. Only in the darkest darks will we go as bright. And because it's absolute cinema and it's gradation, we don't want to add too much of a color pop. Hey, doll, how are you? Why does Sonic? Yeah, he does kind of look like Huggy Wuggy. And in fact, when I was doing my Huggy Wuggy drawings and all my Poppy Playtime character drawings, uh, yeah, a lot of people said that like it almost feels like a bit of a rip, if you will. Even though I think Sonic EXE has been around longer than Poppy Playtime, but I could be mistaken. I could genuinely be mistaken. So here's a good tip. When you are blending colors, get two that kind of are close. And if you gently work, you're not pressing. This isn't about how hard you can smash the color in. If you lightly work through, you'll get everything to blend out. And then what you could do is go back in with your darker tone, and then boom, bounce in some of that color right like that. And that's how you're going to get some really smooth 3 dimensions with alcohol markers. And you don't have to use any gray undertones. Once again, these are meant to be quick. They're meant to give you the movement of the character, the inspiration of the character, but they are no means a professionally done thing, because otherwise I'd spend 3 or 4 hours on these and then I'm not going to be able to get to everyone's. Paranormal Investigations, what's going on? Sam Starlight, been so long, how are you? So many of the longtime subscribers coming back into the comments. Great to see. Let's add some of the glove textures and the belly textures. I'm going to change it up just a little bit with the coloring, mainly because, well, I choose to. And that's something I really want to impress upon you as young and new artist is don't worry about trying to make things one-to-one. Don't worry about, oh, this might not look right. Experiment, have fun. If it doesn't come out the way you want, oh well, that's okay. Use it as a learning experience. Like, don't just say to yourself, "Oh, I'm never going to do that again." Well, maybe you just didn't know what you were doing at that time. Maybe you didn't have the skill sets to achieve the things that you wanted to at that time, but eventually you shall. Now, that was a little bit too dark and too light to try to blend out, so I had to grab a third color as like an intermediary, if you will. And to get some nice juicy lips, we're going to have to add some pink, and you might be thinking, ew, pink. But here's the thing. You have to have some flesh tone in your lip color and then transition it into other colors. So we shall do that in a second by adding little squiggles like this for the creases of the lips. And once we add all the other fun details, it will come together oh so nicely. Go back over and then blend out some of those blacks underneath. And now that gray, that pink goes away. And now I'm going to add a quick gray shading for this. I don't want to fully transition the eye here. I want to leave a little bit of opacity to it. I want to give it a little eccentricity, if you will, by doing it this way. By giving those little indications of lines, it really gives a subtle character to it, which I for one like. I do want to add some blue because I do want it to be a little reminiscent of Sonic. If it was completely grayed out, I don't think it would work. See, that's something as you develop the character, you'll realize, like, it just didn't work, so I need to do this, and you can change things up. It's quite all right. Studio! I was disappointed that I didn't get, like, a triple S tier studio, okay? You gave me an A tier. That's a whole lot of crap, I'm just saying. I need, like, 3 S's, maybe 4, and then I'll be all right. Like I'm just head and shoulders above everyone. And then if you didn't know that, then I'm sorry. No, I appreciate you put me in the video. It was really nice. I don't really ever compare myself to other artists. that's just really cool to be on that list. It doesn't, I just like seeing how your thought breakdown. I really love the comedy behind it. So if you guys didn't watch Studio Art, did a breakdown of pretty much all the mainstay YouTube artists, and it was a really cool, fun tier list breakdown, which I think if you watch other artists on these channels, then I would highly recommend you go check them out because it was quite fun to see all the little comic reliefs that were added into the channel. Just add some little blood shots to the eyes. And like I said, this isn't peak cinema. This is peak horror, or at least fun peak horror. So, let's have some fun. Add some highlight to the eyes. Now, generally speaking, a good thing to think of when you're thinking of the highlights for the eyes, where the light is shining. So if the light is shining forward, you're going to have your highlights, generally speaking, in the middle of the eyeballs, and they're also going to correspond very similar to each eye. You're not going to have a massive blind spot on here, and then it's going to be on the right. It would never. They would always either correspond to each side of the eye, wherever that eye is situated. So it is something to consider about. Yeah, I guess it's Bob Does Art. Yeah, I mean, I can understand why. I mean, you kind of gave him the you kind of gave him some rough treatment on the tier list, so I can see how he's going to be cursing you out in the comments section. I'm just using this purple as a base for the dark to let the dark kind of show through, and then we're going to go over with a nice little highlight, and that will give us a nice little three-dimensional texture and color. It's a really quick and effective way. You don't actually have to draw out the tooth. And the reason why I'm choosing these is if I sat there with colored pencil, I could sit here all day. So I choose not to. Paint pens will get it done with an impressionistic look, which I like in a quick, fast way. And then, gotta, of course, add the blood textures. I mean, it's creepy, it's fun, it's Halloween season. Let's add the blood textures. A good way to, once again, do this is let one layer dry and then go back over again. That's how you'll get these variations between dark and red and light tones. And then when they dry, you can add just a dab of white for highlight here and there. And JM, you are all done. What do you think about your little rendition, JM? Have you beat Silksong? I haven't played Silksong yet. It's probably something that would curse me up and down a storm if I tried to play it. I'm actually currently playing Ghost of Yotei. I'm enjoying it. The combat is a little bit different than the first game, so it's just a little bit different than what I'm normally used to playing. It's like they're trying to be a lot of different things all at once. Try to make this scary. Well, I can try and make a letter M scary. In my previous video, I made a letter C scary. So, Vampire, you are up next. JM, thank you so much. And Vampire, what specifically would you like? What specifically would you like your character to be or to look like? What is the character specifically, so I know what to go for in the profile? Let me print it out, make it a little bigger so I can achieve all these details. Boom. Scroll all the way up. Yeah, man. I like to copy paste the image so I can make it bigger so that way I can actually see all the little details in some of the smaller portraits. And oh, great. So glad you like it. My turn. You just wanted to look simple like a vampire? You got it. All right. Why is this not? All right, let's go back. Open this up again. Thank you. All right, so you want this bunny looking character, and I'm going to focus on the face. You want this bunny looking character. Oh, I actually drew it off askew. See, this is a good learning point. Whenever we draw something that's not on center, because the form is actually here in the PFP, but I want to just focus on the face primarily. It's always good to kind of like set it into motion. So for here, you can open it up. I do want to keep this eye. There is something about this eye that I like because it's really cool. It's almost got like a demon quality to it. So I know you said vampire, and we are going to keep it vampiric, but I do want to keep all of the aspects of the character, but just kind of bring it up into like the little bit less cartoony and a little bit more creepy, semi-realistic. So let's work with that as we kind of go with the new age horror vampire, not like the two-pronged, Bela Lugosi style, but more like the dozen jagged teeth, gnarled vampire modern day, where it's just, more about eating the character. And I like this concept of almost no jaw line at all. Like it's only these teeth and then this portal into nothingness. So what I am going to do is almost just leave this as a big blanketed empty socket, make it like a really sad character, because this character just, I don't know, it's really cool design. Did you design this yourself? Because I actually really like this character design. Very imaginative. Lots of elements going on here that just invoke a certain feeling, if you will. So like I'm just gonna make these like little tufts instead of hairs. I'm just gonna make like little tufts that kind of just jut out. I'm gonna make the jawline just kind of end. Same thing here, and then I'm just gonna put out like a big gnarled tongue with barbs on it, and I'm gonna make this a speared tongue. Just give it some barbs here. There's like another entry where the vampire might gain nourishment, keep it PG, from the characters. But I do like this orb of nothingness that's coming out of the eye, so I'm going to keep that. Yeah, I think this is a really cool design. I like how it's just... Yep, that's going to be a kick-ass design. All right. Oh, Deltarune, what's going on? Haven't seen you in a long, long time. Okay. Show me what the bunny character looks like. Oh, I meant Rabbit Girl. There's a hyperlink. Hyperlink? So far, so good. It's well, it won't be funny looking in a second, so just bear with me and yeah. Try not to scream when you see this thing, because I think it's gonna look creepy and fun, and it's gonna take the cute bunny aspect away and kind of give it more of a vampiric undead creature. To hide some of the pencil marks because I don't want to go away. Was it originally an undead design that you had there, Abby, or was it more of just like a play off of something else, like a video game or an anime or a character? Alright. We're just gonna keep that black. Sorry, that's kind of in like a hyper focus moment, and I was looking back at chat, and then I realized I stopped talking, and it kind of just left a weird void of emptiness. So, my bad. For this, I am going to take the time to really sketch in these teeth with the ink because I really want them to showcase. They are this part, this time the teeth are the showcase. So I really want them to show and shine through. And then give them just that little bit of gum line that's going to come off. Now, I will ask, has anyone seen the My Hero Academia video that I posted earlier today? If you did not, it is okay. I will not be upset. I will only cry in the corner if you tell me. Let's go. Yeah, I like this color, actually. I think it works out well. Thanks, Deltarune fan. As my phone goes buzz, buzz. I'm thinking about the light coming in from here, so that's why I'm making sure that everything is kind of extra dark on this side. And I'm picking my spots on where I think, based upon just experience, where the lightest of the lights are and the darkest of the darks are. I'm glad you think you look Slay, because I think it's one of so far my more favorite character designs because of the originality behind it. So is this something you came up with on your own, or was it like inspired from something else? Because it looks like it has a lot of different elements of other things, but also a original cohesive design. And if you do like what you are seeing and you potentially either want to be next, please make sure you like and subscribe on the stream. It helps me out a lot, lets YouTube know that you like this stuff. And it's also the holiday season, so let's just draw some creepy fun stuff. All right. Oh, that's right. I wanted to make all of this black. I'm going to show you a fun little trick that I do to give things like voidless dimensional space. And if you have any art questions, if you're stuck on something specific, feel free to ask. I am totally here to help you out in your artistic journey wherever it may lie. Thanks, Mario. I really appreciate that. Alrighty. And let me pull up that profile. What was the... Ah, yes, that's what I wanted to do. But I want to blend this out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is lightly fade the color over the top, like so, over the black. But then when we take our white and we just dab down the middle, it gives it that subtle glow effect. But we don't want it too bright. So again, we're going to balance back and forth with this until we get just the right consistency. There. And then, for the voidlessness that's in here, I'm going to hop over to my good paint pens that I can't seem to get a handle on. And thank God I didn't drop them because I would have been upset. And this is a really cool trick that'll give like a really cosmic-y darkness to it. Start off in the middle with a paint pen, and then just ever so slightly drag it over the top in a slight swirl. And then you take another lighter variation of that color, and less than the original, just dab around in spots. And that will give this kind of endless spiral, if you will. And then something to clean it all up, I'll take a nice dark, rich black, kind of pop that in. Also want to accentuate the black in a couple of spots here. And then for some textures on the tongue, gonna work our way in here, fade all that up. And then to bring everything and make cohesive, we can add some of that in there. And then just dab in a few quick highlights. And I'd say, Abby, you are complete. Now, paranormal investigations. I really like Creepy. I really like your old PFP. I really do. Deltarune, please don't put any links in my chat, because YouTube will probably just throw it right out. Alrighty, so now, all right, Creepy, do you have your old PFP? I would love to. Let me go to your channel, see if I have your old PFP, because I would definitely draw that. Let me pull it. Come on. No, not channel activity. Boom. Go to channel. If not, then I will draw your current PFP, but I really loved your old PFP. It was kind of just perfect. But I could work with this. It's just really like a simple silhouette. So, Creepy, did you have like anything specific? Did you, because I don't know, do you have your old PFP? You know what? A good thing to do is let's just go into posts. Maybe you have it as your old. No, you do not. All right. Do you have any inspiration that you'd like for make it more demon-y? All right, but it's very voidless and very black. All right, so a shapeless character that is all right. This is gonna take some engineering. Let's go. Okay. I got a couple of ideas. Let me write down the at paranormal dot investigations dot dash n3h. Okay, so this is going to have to be basically like a complete overhaul, because all his paranormals is basically like a silhouette like that. If you look at the profile, it's a pretty basic silhouette, but he wants let your imagination wallow. So we're pretty much just going to turn you into a simple voidless demon. How do I do that? Well, this is the easy and the hard way. This is what I like to call the speed run way, and the speed run way might annoy some people. So bear with me as I grab a cheap black marker. What? Oh, really is cheap. I mean, look at that. I mean, I knew it was a cheap set from a cheap versus expensive, but damn. They did me dirty on that one. All right. This is gonna be like a creativity challenge too, because we're gonna work purely with paint pens with no pre-sketch. So this can either turn out god-awful or really cool. Either way, we're gonna have a heck of a lot of fun and try. Ready? All right, Creepy, you are all done. What do you think? Do you like it? I mean, it's just brings out the creepiness. I mean, I think it's phenomenal. No, I'm just kidding. We'll work on getting this a little bit better. Just waiting for the paint to dry. And with that, we'll take a water break. All right. Is it close enough? Yeah, it's close enough. So we can do I can actually draw a little bit over the top, and I will. So whereby I will do something that's very simple and like almost an homage, if you will, to your old. So I don't want to go too hard with the coloring. And I really want... Yeah, see, I'm running into some wet spots, but that's okay. I do want... All right, so let's see if this works. And if it works, then I'll be extremely happy. It might not work. And I will tell you what my intent is. What my intent is to use the negative space, if you will, and paint in the character and leave everything else completely dark. So there will be some left to the imagination, if you will, where you as the audience will kind of have to fill in the gaps. And in honesty, that is where some of the best horror comes from. When your own imagination has to fill the gaps. You see, when sometimes we see everything in some of the more modern day horror, yes, it's scary. Yes, there is that response. But what we don't know is what often starts the horror in a lot of these horror movies. So we have to, in a sense, devoid ourselves from that and allow the imagination to take over. And that's when you get something that's incredibly frightening. Now, will this be that? Probably not, because it's looking a little cartoony, but we'll try and scooch things around, just trying to lightly paint it in, and I can correct a lot as I work with stuff. I'm primarily going to work with 3 sets of purples, maybe some blues, and we'll go from there. Move this over here for now. Blend these out. I almost want this to be voidless, and then give it very little dimension. Don't know if it'll work, but that's darn it what I'm going to try to do. That is what I will try my darndest to do. Is use all this wonderful negative space. This is where I love to do stuff like this, because even if it's a hit or a miss, like I was implying before, it doesn't matter. It's about having fun with a design and trying something new. Because copying a simple black silhouette, anyone can do that. It doesn't take much effort at all. Putting yourself out there to try something new, even if it might sensationally flop, is quite all right. Because you'll never know and never grow until you try. And I liken this to the concept, if you've seen the Lord of the Rings version, the 2000s version of the Balrog. It's very amorphous. You don't really get to see the whole thing until it finally unfurls its wings and then all the light comes around it. But until then, it's very dark and very mysterious and very brooding. You get clips, and that's kind of how I want this little snippet of it to be. I want this thing to be like, you don't know what it could be, and you really don't want to find out. This is one of those I don't want to FAFO times. And because this isn't white, this is actually a lavender, it will dry lighter. So it won't dry as white, and it gives it this nice icy sheen. And I'm actually digging it. Is it perfect? Nah. Could I have worked on it? Oh, heck yeah, I could have. I would have just taken a color pencil to a black piece of paper and worked over a couple designs and then refinished it. But that's not the intent. Intent is to get something done pretty quick and give a little story along the way. So, Creepy, what do you think? You good? You like it? Creepy, are you still with me? Awesome. Uh-oh. I hope the Jax plushie is not possessed. regular Yo-Yo, since you are from Romania and it's probably getting exceedingly late in the day, I will do you next, I promise. Then I will do a couple more, and we're actually moving at a pretty good pace, where I might do a couple more after that. So for the next one, because I did tell Yo-Yo if you come in, and he did, and because he's like 7 hours ahead of us, I don't want to hold him up too late. Or her, I'm sorry. Don't mean to presume. But yeah, let's take a peek at go to channel. Get your channel name and we'll write it down here. Oh, that's right, you're Tanjiro. At the regular Yo. Okay, so Yo-Yo, what would you like yourself to look like? Yeah, see, I kind of figured it would be like up into the wee hours of the night. So anything specific? I know you like horror, but like any kind of characterization you might want? Because I'm not saying it's just Tanjiro. That's, and for you who don't know, it's Tanjiro, the main character from the show Demon Slayer. So, but yeah, if there's a specific style you'd like it to look like, because I'm not going to be able to redraw the entirety of Tanjiro in that tiny little square. It would take me a heck of a lot longer than I have the ability to. Like a plant. Okay, I like that. So I'm going to give you like this big fungal character. I can totally dig with that. So let's just go with the basic silhouette. Get the head down. We have this line running through. Arm slotted. Shoulders down. And now I'm thinking of almost like the clickers from The Last of Us. And since it's green, I'm going to make it like a big mushroom kind of head. I'm going to have the mouth come down. I'm going to have the silhouette of the head interfere with the eye. I'm going to keep it a little anime style just because it would fit with the overall aesthetic. And then boom. No, it just kind of looks stupid. It looks bad. So let's just bring it down. Yes. Okay. Give it like this huge cavity, almost alien-esque, except we're gonna bring this here. You have to talk to yourself while you draw these things, people. Like this is literally how it's done. I mean, most artists will either say it out loud or in their heads, and if they don't admit it, well, I'm sorry, they do. I'm gonna keep the eyes really tight. I don't want them to be the focal point. I almost want it to be like the character didn't need them anymore. This might look a little alien at the end, but I'm going to drop the mouth down to here. Make it like these hooded fangs that come out. And like all aspects of Tanjiro. Normally, this is like probably the rarest one where it's like, yeah, it doesn't look anything like it. And that's okay. Because, oh, you know what? I have to give it the Demon Slayer pustules. And considering it is a plant, I'm going to give it like more of like one of those like organic pustules. Okay. That just come out. For those of you who don't know what like a pustule is, it's basically like a big sack of just pus that usually is about ready to explode on a character or creature. It's usually something that can be harmful or it's just grotesque. And I'm going to bring in. Instead of, I'm going to bring in the rib cage to look like this. And I want this to look like vine structures, but also body structures. So we're going to bring in that to connect there, that to connect there, and yeah, okay. What do you think of that little overall concept design? Hi, Grayson. Hi, Spooky Northpaw. Sorry, I was just so in depth into the drawing aspect of it. I will definitely take several more and I will probably write them down. I'll see who wants to be next. And Deltarune, yeah, I can definitely do you as well. You've been very active in the chat and I do appreciate it. So let me scroll up. Alrighty. And Yo-Yo, if you do not see this, I will upload this later on in the week. So do not be upset if you don't see it. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of finish it as quickly as I can. So hopefully you do get to see the whole thing. So this is like lock-in time. This is like where like the gamers, well, I am a gamer, but like the gamers like, okay, chat, we gotta lock in. I gotta sketch this thing out in like 5 minutes because Yo-Yo's got to go to bed and this thing is gonna look awesome. Now, I am doing something that I would highly recommend you don't do at home, and that is do not keep things equivalent proportionally. You want things to be asymmetrical. If they are symmetrical, it actually doesn't make the design look cohesive. It makes things look very plain, flat, and static. Often try to make one side bigger or smaller. It will definitely help the overall cohesion of the design. Since it is a plant-based creature, we are going to go plenty of greens, but I'm going to go vastly over the top with this one color, and then we are going to do lights and shadows over the top. Now, I'm not just randomly scribbling, even though it looks like it. Do not be alarmed. I am using the black that is underneath to add values and shades. So as you can see, the marker will, of course I don't do this, the marker will pull the green that's out and make everything in the surrounding area darker. So I don't have to add other greens. It's like a little, when I'm thumbnail sketching, this is like really cool way to just add some quick cheap value. And then I'm going to use paint pens over the top to get all my three-dimensional designs. See, one color, you take all the gray, you pull it across, and that's how you're going to get pizza draws. Welcome! And that's how you're going to get all those nice little three-dimensional effects. But we still got plenty more to go. So let me grab some paint pens, and we're going to color away. Now, the reason why I'm using paint pens specifically is because I want these really washed colors to kind of pop against these really harsh paint pens to keep it that illustrative look, but also when I add the highlights over the top of this, you'll really get a good indicator of color. And I hope Yo-Yo is still here with us. I hope he did not have to go to sleep just yet, because I would like to see his reaction. But if not, then it is not the worst thing in the world. Hopefully he will see it in a future time. He has been asking a lot in my comments section, and I do have a good knowledge of who's asked about stuff in the past and an affinity for people who do. Yeah, I believe so too, Sam. Okay. So I will cheat a little bit and add some nice gray over the top to muddy down some of these paint pens and to give some nice three-dimensional textures. I do want to swirl them in, give it a little more of an organic feel. That's the other thing too, is make sure you really study textures. Don't just like, not everything is like lines. Some things would have swirls to it to give viney textures or little ridges and bumps. Now, once again, these are quick designs. They are not intended to be 2-3 hour long PFP drawings. It's meant to be quick, fun, spontaneous, have lots of movement and life to them. And then we can add nice little highlights, find some random spots, the eyes. Even though I painted them, I want them to actually be a little highlighted. And that's, wait, no. Okay. Great having you in, pizza. Alrighty. So I'm going to do, next I'm going to do Spooky, then I'm going to do Deltarune, and then Sam, if you like yours, I can, whatchamacallit, I can do yours on the next page. I'm really actually kind of bouncing through these pretty quick. It's because I'm getting kind of the hang of how to plan things, now that I'm drawing PFPs. So I will do, let me pull up Spooky next. Yo, I hope when you see this, you do like the way it came out. Alrighty, so let me go to channel at Spooky North American YouTube. Spooky. Perfect name for the PFP challenge that's going on here, by the way. North American YT, obviously YouTube, unless it's a specific thing that I don't know about. Okay, so Spooky, can you please tell me what's going on in the PFP? I'm seeing kind of like a elephant with some sunglasses hanging above his head. So just let me know what's going on with the concept of like what's going on with the overall design. It's a country ball. I don't know what a country ball is. So I will have to pull it up. What is a country ball? Oh, it's literally the United States as a country. Oh, or a fandom. Let me just put it all as one word. I thought that was separate. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. So, how would you like your character to come out? Let me move the camera down. How would you like your character to come out? Do you want... Is there some specific that you'd like the way the overall design to look, or darn it? A pumpkin? I mean, I could do a horror pumpkin. What are the like glasses that are above it though? Like how would you like me to incorporate some of those things? Because like obviously we can just go with like a simple horror pumpkin, but that's not really like what your PFP is, because you also have like these sunglasses that are going on above it, and I just want to have like the elements as best as I can. All right, so let me see. Let me see. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a pumpkin. I'm going to make it. Draw the basic shapes of the pumpkin. Get the ridges in. Gotta add those glasses. Glasses. All right, and then. Do you want anything specifically above its head? At all? Do you want like, or do you want? I would, if you're going to, I would not ask that you do that because it's my piece of artwork, and yeah. No worries, Abby. People come and go throughout the channel. It happens a lot. I actually do that a lot with streams that I have on. Like I might be playing a game or working on other projects. All right, so let's see how we can incorporate everything. But you got this like, it's trying to figure out what we can do to incorporate more of these elements, because it just seems very too simple. Keep the glasses on the pumpkin. All right, keep the glasses on the pumpkin. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the glasses, but in a new way. I'm going to make it transmorgified into the pumpkin. And what transmorgified is basically to change into. So the pumpkin's going to stay the same. We're going to make it creepier by having the glasses as almost carved into it. So I think this way it'll actually come out as something that's legible, but also fun. Rather than just doing a simple pumpkin, we'll kind of have it almost like it's been carved into it. Yeah. Alrighty. Let's add. Hey, Pierce the Twinkie, what's going on? Welcome, come on in. Hope your day is going good. Mine is going swimmingly. As I get to have fun with all y'all while I'm doodling some quick PFPs. And for next stream, I think I'm going to go to my art list and grab some Halloween kind of music and have it play in the background, so that way I can actually have it play and not have YouTube give me any problem. And then this way you guys don't have to hear deadpan music. Okay. Perfect. I got quick raise here and there to show the pulling of the shadows across and to dilute some of the darkness of these blacks. So we don't want it that strong. We want shadows but not carved lines. I do like this one little ridge that wasn't carved out. That's why I kind of kept it like that. Hey, JM, welcome back. All right. I do like that it's darker. I do want this thing to be very dark. I don't want to... It's not a warm pumpkin. It's not an inviting pumpkin because, well, it is the creepy Halloween season. So let's go with as creepy as we can while as fun as we can. And for most of everyone who is not aware, these are just quick sketches, quick thumbnail ideas. They're going to be between 15, 20 tops. It's all about, like, what would the character look like if scenario before we would take it to like a 2 or 3 hour drawing. Most artists will do this. In fact, this is how most sketchbooks will look in almost any single artist's sketchbook. If you are a genuine artist, you do not have these fun, complete idea sets. That just doesn't happen. Most of them are filled with scribbles and ideas, concepts that they are working on. Usually that's my notebook at work when I'm kind of doodling and trying to figure out things. This is where your concepts really come from before you work on any project. Otherwise, you're probably just straight copying. No one is just going to sit there and have a book of just perfectly done drawings. Those all come from sketches that have been originated from another area. So it's a design. Oh, I was working on this, and then you put it in your good sketchbook. But most real sketchbooks look kind of like this. Just a bunch of doodles or ideas or exercises. They're filled with like hand studies, eyes, mouths, working constantly to try to figure stuff out, whatever your weak point is. Okay, now and then we can pop in. The one thing that I really do love about paint pens too is that they will dry differently based upon where they have been layered over. So with this paint pen, when I layer it here, it's going to dry cooler, but when I layer it here, it's going to dry a lot lighter in color. That's because it's working against a much lighter variation. But I like to incorporate these throughout, so it gives this sense of cohesion. And Spooky, I think you are just about done. Let me know what you think. Oh yeah, Twinkie, you can go ahead and do that. I just don't. I just ask that no one take any of the PFPs that I'm making and then use them as your PFP without really consulting me, just because I don't want to have my artwork just thrown out there for other people to use. I've had to recently go to YouTube and basically have people banned for just outright taking my video clips with no added context to it, just straight up taking the entire video footage with even sometimes my voice and just uploading it. So that's just kind of why I'm a little bit more guarded with stuff like that. That's why I was a little bit hesitant to do this whole kind of series where I draw people's profiles, because I just didn't want it to be where people use the image that I create to then have it as their profile. You know, like, oh, look, he created it and now it could be their profile. But yeah. Thank you, Spooky. All right, so Deltarune, you are next. Yeah, it's kind of like the really hard thing you have to work around, especially in the YouTube area of art. It's a hassle sometimes. Let me increase there. See if that changes some, because it looks like it was just too dim. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so Deltarune, let me pull you up. Boom, boom. Deltarune fan. Who is your favorite character? If you say Sans, I won't be disappointed, Deltarune. But who is your favorite character in the Undertale series? It can even be an AUS. Delta. I spelled it wrong like a jerk. Deltarune fan 1111. Okay. Elnina fan. Okay. Alrighty. So let's go. Elnina Deltarune. So let me ask you something. How would you like your character to look, or do you not have a preference at all? Alrighty. Oh, that's such a thank you, Dark Infinity. I really appreciate that. That's really awesome of you to say. Pierce, I'm probably going to be able to do another 3 after this, because I'm going to be doing Sam's shortly thereafter. So I'm going to start another page. We're moving along pretty well. And so, yeah, I plan to go to like 5 o'clock. So I definitely can do yours. Ba, 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 ba. All right. Just so Deltarune, what would you like Elena to look like, or your PFP to look like? Because I'm not just going to do a 1-for-1 copy. Would like to make things look, especially for the Halloween aspect, I want it to look a little creepy and a little fun. So what can I add to make this just that little extra pop? Basically, Dark Infinity, it takes forever to learn. It's like any skill, really, but it's more about how much time and effort you want to put into things. So, if you really want to learn any skill, it's just about identifying what it is specifically you'd like to learn and then attacking that specific skill set. So, for instance, if you're trying to learn how to do anime, learn anime. If you're trying to learn how to do comic book, learn how to do comic book. If you're trying to learn how to do realism, etc., etc., etc. Yep. Okay. I'll just do a simple horror style. So for your PFP that we have going on here, it's kind of we're gonna make the eyes a heck of a lot more bulging and take up a lot more space. And there's an eccentricity to the face. I have not actually played Deltarune. I did play Undertale, and I enjoyed the heck out of that. But I did not play Deltarune. Draw little squiggles. Am I right in thinking Alina's kind of like an eccentric character, kind of like a little bit crazy, a little nutty, if you will? So to that effect, I'm going to keep it funny and silly, but yet a little creepy as well. Keep this big, funny, goofy kind of teeth. Made that one just a tad bit long. We're going to break it up like that. I'm going to keep the hair kind of the way it is. Flatten out the clothes a little. Arms can stay the same. Clothes can stay the same. And I will make the lip much bigger. Okay. So from there, where's my pen? Ah, here we go. Okay. A lot of times when I want to draw a creepy character, I do lots of little sketching lines. That unsureness in the lines can actually make it look like nervous energy, which is kind of quintessential in horror. In my opinion, kind of like that jaggedy twitchiness to it. Kind of like what Tim Burton has when he does his kind of like creepy characters. If you look at a lot of the sketch work in his original pieces, they have like lots of like quick fire squiggles all throughout. Okay. Right. Can never seem to draw people. Let me seem to draw. Just start drawing circle, and then the features just can't seem to. Okay, so a good trick for if you're having problems kind of like seeing the image is to take people's profiles, and then what you do is uh, you take like a circle like this, right? You'll take someone's like a portrait of someone, and then look up the Loomis method and thereby draw the circle so you can find here's where the eyes line, here's where the mouth lines, and everything else like that. And that will help you find and situate the characters or the people. So if it's even something simple like SpongeBob, you should still thumb out where all of the basic parts should lay. You should never just kind of go, let's start with the eyes. Like you need to have the basic setup of what the character looks like. Very few artists can successfully pull off just straight drawing a character without any pre-sketch. It's incredibly hard. You need to have an amazing sense of internal mapping in your head. I do not have that. Some do. Great. I can't just say myself, hey, draw Homer Simpson without any concept of a reference because I still need to know what Homer looks like, even though I've watched The Simpsons a million times. You know, I just intrinsically need it. Okay. Let's see. All right, and now what we'll do is here we are. Uh-oh. I said here we are, and I can't grab the markers. This is a great way to get some subtle textures and colors without having to go too crazy. And once again, if everyone has any questions about art, I am here to help, so please feel free to ask. Okay. This is what I like to call coloring in reverse. So what I did was add a whole bunch of grays over the top. It won't black out all of this black, but I do want to get the shape and still want some of the black to show through. And by doing it like this, I can kind of have fun and just flick a whole bunch of just crazy swirls out there. Because the character does have big, poofy kind of hair, but I want it to kind of look crazed and matted and bedraggled a little. Which way we can do that is by adding all of these. And when you add markers over the top like this, you actually can get really cool things whereby it's dark, but then when it goes over the paint pens, it becomes lighter. So it doesn't necessarily get 1000% dark, which is kind of cool. All right, let's go to a really light color for the skin. And then I know it might be a sin, but I will add some really red lips because I think it needs to kind of jump out of the page. Be kind of crazy, but maybe not. I'll see. No. All right. So actually, you know what? I'm not going to do the red for that. only because the red is here and it would clash way too much. Okay, and then what we're going to do is grab a white paint pen. I can't get my hands on, to add some nice saliva textures. Some drool that's coming down because maybe she sees something that's like yummy and she's just like wants to just chomp away, but the drool's getting in the way. And then we're going to add one little final detail. Actually, it's way too big. So what we're going to do is add... Aha, here we are. The one time I'll go to a colored pencil. And of course, because I'm such a pro, I'm not checking chat as I'm doing all of this. So I didn't even... Okay, so Dark Infinity, if you love drawing anime characters, then you should 1000% continue doing that. You should always continue to do the things that you 100% love to do. It will keep you going with art exponentially longer. Add some... How do you like your creepy Alina? Let's take a look, Dark Dan. Let's see if I can help you out. Go to channel. Let's see if we can help Dark Dan out. Go to posts. Well, I will say this. For the concept of what you have done, you've got all the proportions down. You have Sonic with his hands in the back, and we know that his feet are running really fast. One thing that I can tell right away that you're doing, and I will use this little area. So, like, you drew the Sonic, right? So this is how I would draw the same exact Sonic. I would draw the Sonic. You see how lightly I'm pressing? I can literally see the pressure that's put into it. You went like this. Eyeball. There's no way that can be accurate. You know what I mean? And look how hard it is to erase. Look how easy it was for me to erase that. So what you do instead is you just lightly circle, like barely let the pencil kiss the page, right? And then you just sketch out the top part of Sonic. Then you sketch out the eye area and the eye area, and then the nose that comes out, and then the eyes here, and then the eyes here. And I'm doing this in like 10 seconds. Actually, it's because I drew too small. But yeah, like if I was to go boom, boom, draw that, and now we got the mouth. I was able to erase that like several times. And then the body's down here, trying not to destroy other people's stuff. Ears, ears. Now when I go over, I can do a much more controlled line and readjust in case I may have like, oops, I got to bring this nose down. Okay, well now I can. Oops, I have to bring the eyes maybe over here. Okay, I can. Maybe I need to put the mouth like that and then go ha 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 ha. But you know what I mean? Like, you can then correct stuff. But even then, after the fourth time, it's almost the same as that. So I do hope that helps. You definitely are pressing significantly longer, so you're not actually sketching everything out. You're trying to draw everything out all at once. You need to plot it out. Head, ears, hairs in the background, ears, hands, hands. And then you'll also notice that, like, you put the hands way back, but then made them, like, the proportions can then be adjusted. Because, like, the waist wouldn't come out here. The waist would flare out. Flare out in one direction, either left or right, depending upon where the body is moving. So these are just little subtlety things. I think I drew this exact same Sonic. Let me see if I can find an image for you. I may not have, but hopefully I have something that I can equate it to. I do not have the Sonic. Of course, why would I have the Sonic? But I do have a Knuckles. So as you can see, even though with this Knuckles, right, it's something I did really quick. I think it was from one of my nieces or my nephews. I basically started off with the concept. I started off with the gesture line. So I started out with the head, and then I knew the action line, which is where the line that starts on the base of the head, was coming here. Because the pose is like, this pose went like this. It started out like this, and I went, bam! I could feel the weight. The weight is on these two legs, and then it's the supporting fist is foreshortened, so it's like, getting out there. And then you have this hand that's down here. So now we know where to block in. The hand is here. The hand is here. We know the hand is coming here. So how do we then correct that? We go like this. We know that the eyes are in this shape here. The mouth is in this area here. And these are all the things that you plot out in a very, very light line. This is darker than something I probably would use anyway. I wouldn't just use a regular number 2 pencil because I just wouldn't use a regular number 2 pencil to plot out. But from there, I can go like this. Okay, I know the hair's coming here, and then from when the hair is going, I can sketch in the eye that's going to come here. And I know that this is not a drawing tutorial, but we're also trying to help people. So from here, we can sketch in the mouth. And then the mouth comes in here. The smile comes in there. The nose. The eyes. The head. I was going to say dreadlocks, but I still think they are dreadlocks. Boom. Boom. Tail. Foot. I am not drawing that foot because it took me a lot longer to draw. But this is like similar to what I was showing my nieces and my nephews when I was giving them an art lesson. This is how almost every artist does it. They block everything in. They don't get too bogged down into the details. They just want to know where everything is situated first. So like, okay, oops, I need to make that come up more. You do. And then you go over with another layer. You'll then sit there and go, okay, this is where we're going to refine everything. So when I refine everything, I do like to make sure I start with the eyes because it kind of gives me to access, like, is everything where I want it to be? So like I need that there, that there. And I'm working kind of without a reference. I'm just kind of copying what I have here. But I think that this is a close enough likeness that I can adjust. And that's how you kind of just work. And then that's when you're going to put your darker things in, when you have a more solid idea of where you think things are founded. So I hope that helps. Like that 5-minute tutorial. I would definitely work on not pressing so directly hard. Make sure you get the whole character developed. But you did have some overall composition. It's really nice, and it follows the character. It's recognizable. Once again, also when you're coloring, don't do this. Like, work softly and gently in tight little circles. And then you can blend other colors on top. That way you get less of the streaking and more of a cohesive flat color. So Dark Dan, I wasn't looking at any of the comments, so I do hope this whole helps. No, Dark Dan, it's never a waste. This is more about just helping people in general because other people might not have the wherewithal to ask questions. They might feel a little nervous or trepidatious. They might feel really bad to ask questions because they don't want to get picked on. By you asking the question, you might have helped someone else and you didn't even realize. Okay, water break and over, and now we're gonna go on to Sam. Are you still here? Please tell me, Sam Starlight, you are still here. As my chaos of just stuff. And if you guys see with me, at the end, I'm gonna show you my concept for my next video that'll be coming out, which is going to be a Hazbin Hotel design. And that will be in either 4 or 6 different styles. Haven't decided yet. Okay. Oh, no. Oh, okay, cool. Sam, so what would you like? As I said, I will draw you next. So go to channel activity. Sam. Oh, that's right. I'm only going to see if I can fit all this in here. Okay. So we'll do at the epic has been owl KP fangirl. I'm getting writer's cramp just from this whole thing. Fangirl. Oh, 167. 167. Okay. Hand cramp out of the way. Let's take a snippet of this PFP. How would you like your PFP to look? Let me pull up the image so I have something better to look at. All right. Looks like it's got a lot of Owl House into it. Oh no! I knew someone was gonna say that. I'm not saying it again. Pierce the Twinkie. I shall draw you next because I remember you did ask. So Starlight, how would you like your character to look like, and is it Owl House inspired? If you're telling me to go hog wild, then I will just draw the PFP kind of as is with the creepy vibe to it. Sam, you still here? Sam. Sam. Oh, is that supposed to be Guinevere from? Yes, I did see it. I wasn't really sure, like, yeah, it was very unique, the concept of the show. All right, so what I will do is I will just start with the basics of what the character looks like. This is another way to draw. This is called enveloping. So basically, we're breaking it down to its most primal shapes. And from there, we are going to be able to draw the character and map it out. Okay, so we got the mouth, the nose, eyes, and I knew I should have made this thing a little higher. Whatever. Here we go. Eyebrow. Eyebrow. Eye. Round. Round. Probably should have made it a little bit smaller now that I thought about it. Darn it. Yeah, sorry, I'm just gonna. Alright, you're gonna have to bear with me as I just redraw the whole thing. Yeah, I know, I did that. I can't believe it. Oh my god, I'm failed YouTuber. No. Just redraw the whole thing. Oh no. Get better, scrub. Oh no. Did he just say that? Yes. Why? I don't know. That's, geez Louise, that's what's killing me. Okay, so we got this thing here. This. Last time I'm doing this thing. Alright. Take my own advice, James. Take your own advice. Head. Neck. See, I'm trying to do everything I'm telling people not to do. And then wondering why my version's coming out like crap. Because I'm doing it the way it's not supposed to be done. Characters have been drawn like this for decades, almost hundreds of years, but I just think I can bang it out like it's no problem. Doesn't work like that. Way to go, champ. You've played yourself. Okay. All silliness aside, now we've got the character situated. Any specific type of horror that you may want to have or not? Since she's mechanical, I can try and do a FNAF animatronic. If you're up for that. If not, I can go with a fun cartoon kind of style horror. Not necessarily like, big teeth or, bulging eyebrows or whatever. And the bite of 87. They better add a lot more. Hey, Flynn, welcome in. They better add for the next movie a lot more backstory. because I think for the casuals, they're going to need it. For Wolf Curtis, what's going on? For the regulars, it's going to be, yeah, like they kind of know the story, but for the casuals, it's going to be really hard for people to figure out what's going on and who people are. And then when they have like these reveals, people are gonna be like, oh, if you're a casual. But for the regs of the FNAF movie, yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm transforming people's PFPs into horror characters. In this instance, she would like this character, but to look more cartoon horror. So we're going to keep the eyes, but we're gonna make them a little different here. Make them rounder. Because it's semi-anime. It's like basically anime without actually being. But we're gonna bring the eyes down and the scowl up. Bring the nose down. Bring some lines in. Give it a sinister, cartoony grin because but I will give. Well, I'm gonna give it some quick cartoony style vampire fangs because we're not going for too gory on this one, as per the request. So there'll be less gore on this one. For those of you who haven't catched up, I will show you the other 6 that we have done a little later. Make it more look like a vampire cartoon princess. Give it the old cartoon vampire bites. Because, you know, we got the old school little choker. And then, yeah, I'm going to keep it simple on this one, but just different. Sometimes just a simple execution is a good one. Alrighty. A good tip for when you're inking anything, and this is just done with a quick Sharpie. If you're having problems, do not use your hand. I mean, yes, you can ink your hand like this, but you're liable to get more shakes. If you use your whole arm to ink longer lines, you'll get smoother, bolder lines. Your lines will be a lot more crisp. If you want to have more action in your lines, you want to show movement and rhythm, then yes, use your hand by all means. But otherwise, you should be, generally speaking, using your whole hand and whole arm, not just quick little flicks. Unless you're adding movement or it's a very precision, you should be otherwise using your arm the entire time. Do some eyelashes. Hey, Flynn, yeah, I should be taking a couple more requests after this, and then I will see where everything lays afterwards. Let me look up the character real quick, see what kind of eye color they have. Oh, this is primarily black. So from there, going to keep it a very anime aesthetic look. I am using my cheaper Sharpie, but that does not mean that I'm not giving it the attention that it so desires. Okay, and then I'm going to keep the shading kind of minimal, and the reason being, well, we're making her into a vampire. So she is undead. That means flesh colors go away. Basically adding a minimal amount of shading in some core spots. Okay, and then where's my dark blue? Nope, it's gonna be darker than that. Where is it? Ooh. Here. You know what? I'll work with this. Okay, and then grab. Okay. Dark there, dark there, dark there in the eyes as well. Gotta add the red teeth. I mean, if it's gonna be a horror, we gotta add the red teeth. I mean, we're gonna keep it a little simple, silly, but whatever. Vampire, welcome back. This is Sam Starlights, and we are done. Sam, what do you think about your quick little fun design? Ooh, I love it. Great to hear. Alrighty. Dark Dan, of course you can be next, but what is your PFP? Because all I see is two gigantic eyes. Is that a mouse? Dark Dan, what is that PFP as I pull up your thing and write it down? Mudkip. See, now if I knew that it was Mudkip, I would have done like an evil Mudkip, which I still might do because Mudkip is Mudkip. And it's always fun to do Pokemon that are creepy. Pierce Twinkie, of course, you will be my last one. It's a hamster. Okay, well, you know what? I love your hamster. It's a little muted. So since your name is Mudkip, I'm gonna pull up Mudkip and I'm gonna make a horror Mudkip. What do you think about that? I know it's not necessarily your PFP, but your name resonates a lot better. Okay. Oops. And of course I whack the thing. All right, that's because I'm such an amazing person. Let's draw Mudkip. So for Mudkip, we've got face. And this is, once again, since you're going to start seeing the tutorial, right? Like Mudkip's got a rounded face. Starting off with the face and then building up. I'm not going into the details. I'm just kind of mapping everything out. So I want you to really understand that even though Pokemon and characters are simple or can be simple, does not mean they do not have their own structures. They most certainly do. They have shapes that they must adhere to and proportions that they must adhere to, or otherwise the characters do not look functional. And then boom, a big old thing, except we're going to make this, now that I think about it and the form is done, we're going to make this a big jagged horn. We're going to change this into a big curling horn. It's going to go into the base of the skull, like so. And that's, you can see, it's going to curl in and then go back, and this is going to curl in, and then you're going to have the weight. From here, we're going to have 3 little barbs. And I'm already exponentially liking this design of Mudkip. I might do a thing for Halloween where I take Pokemon and make them into horror characters. Maybe I'll put that as a post. Do you guys and gals want me to transform Pokemon into horror characters? Like where I make them extra creepy. Because this Mudkip, I could definitely see myself continuing this design. This is a design that I can get behind. Give it like this bony wing structure back here. And then this, and it's just adorable. It's an adorable little creature that'll tear your head off. And that, well, that's cool. All right. See, once again, like this would be a quick, fun design, but if I want to continue it, I have a really cool base by which to start from. You know what I mean? Like I could just be like, ah, perfect. This is exactly where I want to see my character design from. Oh yeah, JM did look like Huggy Wuggy. I think that's what I might do for my next stream to get into the Halloween mood is transform Pokemon into creepy characters. And then use this little Mudkip to be like, no. Give it the little cute teefies. Not a lot of teefies, but just enough teefies to go, Arr. And like I said, for those who stay toward the end, I am going to show you a preview of the concept of what I'm going to work on for my next drawing. It's going to be for the Hazbin Hotel series. So if you are a fan of that show and that series, and you want to see me do it in 6 different styles, well, then you will see the preview of that in a little while. I still want it to feel anime or Pokemon. If you don't want to fight with me that Pokemon is an anime, but I still want to keep the anime feel. And I need to keep the coloring very simple, as I just screw up there, but whatever. I want to keep the coloring very simple, very minimal, little highlights as possible. Keep it two-toned with some, and I mean some, 3 dimensions to it. Go back to this. Mudkip. Make his legs a little darker because it's there in the shadow. So I do hope you like what you see, and if you do and you want to continue to see more, then please, as always, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. It lets YouTube know that you really like the content, and I know that I'm a little bit more of a melodic person. I'm not like, whoa, but that's just because, well, I'm kind of tired, even though it's my day off. I worked 45 hours this weekend, kind of shot. Okay. Yeah, I have a regular job that I work 45 hours a week, not including travel. So, yeah. And then I do my YouTube on the side. So, I'd say in total between both jobs, I put in about 80 hours a week. So, Dark Dan, how do you like your PFP? Hey, Afton, you made it. Welcome in. Sorry. Starting to lose the steam a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to push this full time, so. And hey, Flynn, welcome back. So, hope you like it. And for the final one, if I can just move my mouse because I keep talking, and then Pierce the Twinkie. You will be my last one for this evening. And okay, I can't do two portraits of two people, so Pierce the Twinkie, is there something specific you like? Because I don't have like a whole hour to sketch all that out. It's cute, adorable, and terrifying there, Sam. It's so Pierce the Twinkie, are you still with us? Because if you are still with us, I just don't have the time to sketch out two full people's portraits looking up. If you have something else, let me know. Otherwise, I might just move on to somebody else. Yeah, you thought school was long. Yeah, well, when you become an adult, life, you work a lot of times, and yeah, life can get like that. Pierce the Twinkie, are you still with us? Hello, hello, Pierce the Twinkie. Okay, I'm gonna say Pierce the Twinkie is not with us, which is a shame. Because, yeah, I will fin as, let me see your thing. It's the snout of a dog. Do you have like the full picture of the dog, or do you want me to just do a picture of a dog? Because I'm not gonna just draw the like a snout. I mean, I can if you really, really want me just to draw like the snout here and the mouth and whatnot. I don't want to do taxes. That's why I pay people to do them for me. Flynn's Extravaganza. All right. Well, you know what I will do? I'm going to basically draw your pupper that you got here, but I'm going to make it horror. Mainly because there was also, pro YouTuber. And, all right. Flynn's MR dash 04I8N. Okay, so what we are going to do is we got the snoot, and we got the snoots. We got pupper snoots. We got a big old schnonker for a pupper snoot. And we've got a foreshortened face. Now, foreshortened means everything is coming towards the camera and then these little feetsies here. But we're going to use those little feetsies as part of a design because we're going to transmorph the eye here. And we're going to make it into a slit. And we're going to make this truly horrifying. Make a big tooth coming out of the side here. Forego that. Actually, we'll work with this. We'll bring the jawline out more. Bring the tufts of hair. We'll have like a piece of flesh just dangling like that. And then Yeah, you can screenshot it, your PFP. I just recommend that you just don't use my art in a PFP. Mainly because, well, yeah, I've had instances in the past, and I had one instance when I used to do name art where I used to like draw people's names and fancy like calligraphy, and someone was using that. That's why I was really trepidatious about this go around with doing PFP art, and so if that happens, I will never do it again. It'll just be something that just won't happen. So yeah, I don't mind if you have it like, hey, look, it's cool. This is what somebody did, but don't like put it without asking me. You could put it in your posts. Just don't make it your own profile. Let's make sure that this thing really hangs and is manged. And then the tooth is kind of, well, long in the tooth, and we have it really, yeah, just bring that dark all the way in. Do not be horrified of the pupper. This is still a friendly puppy, I swear. It will not give you nightmares. I don't pretend that it won't. Hi, Spa, welcome in. Oh, thanks, Abby. That's really nice of you to say. I've just been working on some stuff. Ah, Pierce the Twinkie. So I have your information saved. I saw that you requested. Here's the thing. I can't do, or rather, it's just going to be a lot to do, two whole people in a tiny little image, drafted out, and then whatchamacallit, redrawn. So what I will say is, if you have another kind of image that you want me to use, let me know, and I will gladly do so. But doing two whole people with a background and trying to make that horror is just way beyond the amount of time that I really would like to spend on these. So that's why I forewent doing you. But if you let me know about something else you'd like, I will do it for one of the bottom ones in a future video, probably as a short. So yeah, if you at me at this, like if you Twinkie, you make something, you say, and you at me and you're like, hey, can you make this horrifying? Then that's cool. I could totally do that because it gives me an image to work off of. But yeah, like doing two whole people in a portrait, that's just not to say impossible. It's just I can't do that in like that 15-20 minute structure. It's an almost an impossibility. So and if anyone ever has a piece of artwork and they want to at me, get my opinion on something, or they have a question they'd like me to think and look at something, you can always at me, and I'm willing to always help any artist with any questions that they have. If you have a community post and you want to at me and you like, hey, how can I fix this? I'm having a problem with this. What can I do about that? Let me know, and I'll most certainly look for you. And I will give you the best advice that I can under my specific skill sets. No problem, Twinkie, anytime. Like I said, I felt bad because I'm like, oh, you left, and then just as you probably left is when I'm like, okay, we'll draw you. I get it. People bounce in and out all the time of my channel. I get like sometimes 15, 20 people, and then sometimes I get like 4 or 5, and that's just the nature of it. So we're drawing this the last profile pic, and then I'm going to show you a really cool concept I'll be working on for my next long form video. And I think overall my fandoms are going to be very happy with the topic. And if you haven't, please do me a favor, go to today's video and watch my video of where I drew Deku in 4 different styles. It's an 8-minute video. It'd mean the world to me if you went and watched. So I am constantly be saying that, but yeah, it would mean the world to me. Let me know. If you're a My Hero Academia fan, I think you'll absolutely love the drawing and the overall approach. And the fun storytelling that I do along the way. A little bit different than what I'm doing here. A lot more detailed, a lot more art nuance, and more fun storytelling to go along with it. And for the eye. And for the only color that I'm really going to add, it's going to be right here in the eye. And we really want that to pop. Well, all right, maybe I'll. All right, I have to give the drips. I have to give the drips in. What can I say? This is going to be more of a theory of color on black and white. So we can add the blood drips in. And once again, add little highlights here. And the little highlights for the glisten on the snoot. And Finn, I hope you like it, Flynn. Let me know. I hope. And draw Mudkip in 4 different styles. I have drawn a couple of Pokemon in 4 different styles. I am not British, not by a long shot. Oh, what markers do I use? So I use a combination of markers. I use Ohuhus. They are probably the best alcohol marker for how affordable they are. And then I use a combination of Shuttle Art and Grabby paint pens. They are both really good paint pens for their values. Yeah, it does kind of look like demonic in its form. Now, for the last thing, that will be, this is what my character next series is going to be, if I can get it. I plan to do this design right here. I want to do both Angel Dust and I want to do both Husk in one drawing. Hey, Blue Dragon, welcome in. I'm sorry, I'm just winding down right now because I drew a whole bunch of characters. We've been on for about almost 2.5 hours. But yeah, I'm going to be doing Angel Dust, and I'm going to be doing Husk in one drawing just like this in probably 6 different styles. So I think it's going to be something that everyone will really like. For those of you who just came in, we did these drawings right here, and then I will showcase the last few that we did, and that was those 6 right there. So thank you all so much for stopping by. I really appreciate you all, and I'll see you all in the comments. If you haven't, please check out my Deku drawing in 4 different styles. I appreciate you all, so thank you all for stopping by, and I'll see you all in the next time.